this week, I don't know whether anybody has noticed, but it's Valentine's Day coming up, and we've obviously been talking a lot about the sort of national content and national campaigns that people can get engaged in, and this one is no different. So I'm going to get started by talking basically today about different brands that are doing different things for Valentine's Day, and then how you might be able to emulate or do the same, and maybe get some ideas if you haven't already got there, or how you could maybe take some of those ideas and use it for future campaigns. So what we're going to cover today is Poundland versus H. Samuel. So this is about being alternative Valentine's Day versus being an inclusive Valentine's Day. So that will hopefully be an interesting one for you guys. We are looking at The Last Bunch versus the Card Factory. So basically flowers versus Card Factory, FOMO or fear of missing out versus going for the hard sell. We are looking at Saddleworth Brownies, which is an independent brownie company, versus Lindt, which is, I mean, everyone knows Lindt, one of my favorite chocolates. And we are looking at Brewdog versus Bell and Co. And then we are looking at some winning content ideas for the next couple of weeks as well. So one of the things that I wanted to do was to look at this section. So this is about learning from your peers. So what I've done is I've put in H. Samuel's calendar. So anybody can do this. You can literally go into the Maybe platform, click engage, and you can pop in the brand that I guess you want to learn from. So, or maybe it might be a brand that, you know, is a direct competitor. You can pop it in the competitor calendar, and in there you can basically see all their content. So this is a little bird's eye view of all the content that H. Samuel has produced over the last week. And as you can see, it is all very pink and lovely and full of love hearts and Valentine's Day. And you also will get a bit of a feel for what they're doing and why in a little bit. But here it's really all about Valentine's Day. You can see the different things they're doing. So they're doing product shots, they're doing stuff which I guess is much more focused on people, and then people actually wearing their things. And they're very much using sort of most of the channels really. Okay. And on that, so 79.1% of consumers in the UK spend over an hour on social media every day. And guess what? It's only 19% of businesses that have active social media accounts. I bang on about it every week, guys. I would absolutely love it if we got more active on social media to engage more with where people are. That's where they are. So let's get engaging. That's what we are here to do. So maybe help over 25,000 businesses get more out of social media, because what we do is we help you compare. So we help you compare your social media performance against any other business. There's no other platform that can do all of these things. We use all the social media tools and insight that you need to use social media more effectively. And then you get access to expert resources as well and training to help you communicate even better. So here we are. We're going to look a little bit at Poundland versus H. Samuel. So why, I guess, are you thinking I would be comparing in any way, shape or form Poundland for Valentine's stuff versus a big jewellery brand in the UK? Well, I'll show you. So what Poundland have done here is they have gotten a little bit cheeky with this post. As you can see, here's some of their other bits and bobs. They've kind of gone very Valentine's-y, as well as, you know, H. Samuel did, as you saw from their content calendar. Done some little reels, you know, they've done some, you know, these are like some of the bits and bobs, you know, that you can buy for your loved one. Obviously it's Poundland, so it's cost effective. But this I actually really liked. So this was a post that was initially done here by someone called Emma Drew, which was the Poundland Appreciation Society. So she's clearly got her own, you know, like account, loves it. Loves Poundland, and she's found this, which is basically she's gone around and picked some of her top picks, if you like, from the store. And here it's an apology pad, so it says you've got to put it, you know, saying Sally from Craig, Feb the 14th, I'm sorry that I ate all of your chocolates. I promise to make it up to you with one back massage, which is the best way to kiss and make up. So then they put so this is the gift. So it's an apology pad where basically, you know, you can give it to a friend or a loved one, you know, anyone that basically annoys you sometimes, I guess, or needs to do some making up. Give it to them, and then they can write down, I guess, you know, that what they you know, what they've done, why they've done it. And it's tongue in cheek, it's a bit of fun. And, you know, the idea is that most people would have a bit of a giggle at it. So the product itself kind of sells itself, if you like. And obviously it's in Poundland, so it's relatively cheap. And then in the background, you can see the rest of the range. So I like it because it's a kind of tongue in cheek kind of product. And then in the caption, they've kept it fairly tongue-in-cheek as well by saying, know someone who needs one of these, let them know below. So again, the idea is that you should be tagging in, you know, so again, if you've got, you know, a good relationship with, say, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, wife, whoever, that you would be tagging them in and saying, oi, you know, you didn't do the dishes last week, you know, do you want, you need one of these. So it's to try and drive tagging and try to drive engagement. They've used user-generated content. So they've used, you know, like somebody else has created that content and they've actually used it, which is fantastic. And that's what we talk about a lot in terms of content. And then put that it's also £1. They've said it's £1, only in store. So you've got to physically go in store to get it. You can't buy it online. And then what they've done here is they've used the right kind of, you know, like Valentine's hashtags, if you like. So I guess I would have probably gone a bit further with the hashtags if it was me. I would have maybe gone down the, you know, sorry, not sorry, you know, that you could have done like some like funny, you know, like relationship hashtags, I guess. But yeah, they've kind of kept it fairly top line. But yeah, so essentially the key things that I would take from this is that if you've got any gifts and they are a little bit quirky, a little bit different, or, you know, they are kind of going down the kind of more funny routes rather than being more the traditional lovey-dovey kind of route, then I guess it's important to make sure that you capture that in an image. And again, user-generated content is the best way of doing that, or showing, you know, like physically showing it with a hand, things like that. People like that on Instagram. It feels more personal and human. And then having the sort of taggability side of it, which is, you know someone that needs one of these, you know, like try and encourage, you know, it might be a bestie, it might be a partner, whoever it is, to try and tag someone in. So that needs to, the caption needs to match the tongue-in-cheekness, if you like, of the product. And then making sure that, I guess, your hashtags are actually, you know, they're relevant, but you could also, you know, you'd have, you know, up to 30, you know, like I would have, you know, gone to town really on all these hashtags to make sure that different types of people were coming in and following it, because the Valentine's hashtags are huge. So again, you could have maybe done Valentine's UK, you know, things like that. But as you can see, people have been really interested, so be careful. And that back massage will turn into children. I bought this 2 weeks ago. Is this in store already? I'll see you all on the 15th when it's on sale. I bought it last week. Stick your massage, replace the chocolates and move on. That's what I said. You know, I absolutely love this. Who is Craig? So again, if I was Poundland, I could go to town on all of these comments. I would be replying back saying Craig, and I would have maybe done, I don't know, some little eyeball emojis or tagged in a Craig. I love this, stick your massage replaced with chocolates. You could even go back to that customer and say, tell you what, you've clearly had a hard time, we'll send you some chocolates. You know, there's different ways of doing it, but I guess, you know, having that kind of, you know, that kind of product mixed with that kind of caption that is designed to either engage you in one way, shape or form, engage back with the content as well. But yeah, no, I absolutely love this. It's just so fun. So then going back to our verses, so that was Poundland. So they've gone for very much the kind of, you know, being a bit alternative with your gifting, if you like, you know, commenting on, you know, the fact that couples fight, that's what we do. And then we've got H. Samuel. So I showed you earlier on their kind of wider content strategy, which was, you know, all based around, you know, showing, they always show a product and then they always show it on people. And it's to kind of show, again, the different types of people that would be wearing this product. And what they've done is they have created this little video here, which obviously is a professionally done one, but again, there's no reason that anybody couldn't do this kind of video. So it says, put a smile on the face of the one that makes your heart beat faster and always gives you butterflies. Shop our new Valentine's collection at the link in the bio. So here you can see the video has a big range of different types of people. So as in it has what appears to be same-sex couples, it has a mix of different ages, it has a mix of different genders, it has a mix of different races, different backgrounds, it has a mix of everything, right? So the idea is that what they're trying to do is be inclusive. They're trying to show that actually their products are for all types of couples, not just, I don't know, you know, like your traditional couple that you might see in some, you know, like old-fashioned stock photography kind of thing. This is for all of you. And I think as well, they've kind of gone down the younger route as well with some of this. H. Samuel is maybe trying to show that they can appeal to, I guess, maybe more of in your kind of 20s, you know, in an early relationship, or as well, obviously getting married, you can get engaged, but it's not gone down that older, you know, like top 50s kind of route. So I think they clearly have, like, as you can see from the rest of their campaign, very much gone down, you know, a particular type of demographic, which I like because they've been quite specific. However, being specific, they've also been inclusive. So I think it's really interesting, because I think that we can all get lost in a little bit of, oh, Valentine's Day is for this person and Valentine's Day for that person. The whole point in Valentine's Day is it should be about celebrating love. So let's celebrate all types of love. So again, if that's something that's important to your business, make sure that you show that, whether it's through a video, whether it's through, don't know, it might be, you know, members of your team have gotten together, it might be your own story, it might be it could be anything, but I guess it's kind of showing that you're being inclusive to all, or at the very least that you understand your demographic enough to make sure they're represented in your video or in your imagery. So just don't get caught up in the, it always has to be the same type of person. Actually, it needs to be about who's likely to buy it from you, and actually showing, you know, what love to you means, for example. Again, I would have probably gone to town a little bit more on the hashtags here, but you know, they are a big brand, they probably didn't need to go as much, but looking at it, they could have gotten a lot more engagement on this one, because they have had a bit more engagement on some of the other ones. But that would be one of the things that I would work on if I was HS Samuel. So we've done Poundland, tongue-in-cheek, fun. We've done H. Samuel being, you know, trying to be inclusive. Now I want to look at two completely different businesses. So I want to look at The Last Bunch, which is a florist, an independent florist, versus a really large national retailer, The Card Factory. And remember, today we're talking about how to leverage Valentine's Day for your business and looking at the different types of businesses that are doing it. Here we go. Right, I'll play the video and then we'll talk about it.
You're for promiscuous, my style is ridiculous. Love my ass and my abs in the video for promiscuous, my style is ridiculous.
Okay, so what you can see here is this is an independent florist. As you can see, she always has her, like, the flowers on show and how gorgeous the bouquets are. She does lots of different types, and she does lots of reels. And what I like about this one is that it's kind of an unboxing. This is what you would expect to get through the post if you were to order flowers for yourself or flowers for a loved one, whether that's a, you know, a partner, a friend, whoever it might be, someone that deserves it, really. And what she's done is she's really showed how gorgeous it is. You know, she's got her nails and all that kind of stuff. Everything's all beautiful, well done. But you can see the stunning box. You can see how it arrives. You can see that it comes with a gorgeous little vase. She shows you how to cut it out and how to make it beautiful and how to pop it in. And I think that to me is one of the best ways of selling a product without selling it. She's not going over the top and saying, you must buy these now, you know, like, oh, there are only so many left and blah, blah, blah. What she's done is gone, check out my gorgeous flowers. The flowers speak for themselves. She's chosen music that she loves and keeps it, you know, really fun and fresh. And she has made it very much all about the product, which I really, really like. And then, of course, in the caption, she's put, everyone deserves flowers on Valentine's Day. So whether you're treating yourself or your loved one, make sure you place your order soon so it arrives in plenty of time. So she's kind of creating that fear of missing out a wee bit, but it is kind of that the idea that, you know, this could be a little treat for yourself or it could be for a loved one, but either way, you know, like, buy it, but she's not telling you to go out of your way to buy it. So it is in, and of course she's done brilliant hashtags, which again, lots of the nationals could learn from here. So she's done things like, you know, dried flowers, flower bouquet. She's done her London florist, that's where she's based. She's done her bouquet inspo, got flowers of Instagram. She's got her Valentine's ones, Galentine's Day, which again is absolutely huge. If you're going to do anything where you want to focus on the fact that, you know, not everyone's in a relationship. Some people are single. So actually it's going, you know, celebrate Galentine's Day, which is usually about two besties, you know, females usually getting together, but, you know, you might have bromances and stuff like that, you know, so there's alternative Valentine's Days. And so she's making sure that no matter where you land on, if you're interested in anything to do with her product, you're landing on it and you're going to want to get it because of this gorgeous video. So really, really well done here, because I think it sells it without pushing it, which I think is really, really important sometimes. And then we've got the card factory. And come on, Instagram. And you'll notice that a lot of these products are on Instagram because, funnily enough, that's one of the best places to showcase product. So here, I love this. I'm not going to lie to you. I just love this so much because guess what? I am a massive dog lover and I kind of want to buy this myself. So this is a very alternative way of celebrating Valentine's Day, because it is celebrating the love that we all have for our little furry friends. So whether you've got a cat, dog, whatever, you know, I've recently got guinea pigs for my sins. We all love our pets and they're very much part of our family. If you're like me, my dog's attached to me. So you're really speaking to the pet lover. And in particular here, I would say definitely probably more dogs here, but yeah. So spoil your furry bestie and yourself this Valentine's Day with our perfect collection of gifts for pets. So they've done, you know, a little flat lay, if you like, you know, showing, you know, just a pop of pink, and then they've showed, you know, like the main things that you can buy for your pet. And then they've put what the individual items are, and they've put the prices. So again, it's kind of it's a lot more salesy than, for example, the other one, but you know, it's still tongue in cheek, it's still cute, it's still sweet, and I think it's very much speaking to the type of person that would buy it, probably me. And then it's got the available online and in store while stock lasts, link in the bio. So again, that's the kind of that fear of missing out a wee bit. That's the kind of drive to want to go down and either try and purchase it online or purchase it in your store. So you might want to go on the bio and find out where your nearest store is, for example, but it's more salesy. So it's that kind of, you know, like I guess inspiration and product speaking for itself versus selling. So it's definitely more salesy, but I love how they've kind of thought about an alternative way of looking at Valentine's Day, again, for people that are single, people that, you know, are not in a relationship, people that would prefer their dog to their husband or wife, you know, it happens. So it's about celebrating like love in all of its different facets. And I think that, again, if you are somebody that sells anything to do with pets, something to do with, I don't know, even if it is that you're at a cafe and that you put out, you know, a little dog bowl or something like that, you know, I take my dog all the time to, like, you know, local pubs and cafes and things where they do put out biscuits and things for the dogs. Why not wrap it up in a little red bow and put it on Instagram and say that it's, you know, for Valentine's Day from us to you? It would make me much more likely to go there. So it's thinking about those little nuances. So that's what you can take from this, is that, you know, Valentine's Day might be this massive thing, but actually there's different ways of celebrating it, and there's different ways of attracting different types of people down to your store or your shop or your online shop, by just thinking about, well, actually it's not your typical, you know, like I want to marry you sort of Valentine's Day. Actually it's, you know, I'm celebrating the fact that I love my dog or my cat or your guinea pig, whatever. But yeah, really, really like it. Oh, and you could have gone to, again, you could have really gone to town on those hashtags there as well. And you can see even here, somebody had written, you know, at Casey Stevens, how much of this did you bring home? Is clearly a massive pet lover. So that's, again, that kind of taggability we've gone back to. So yeah, really, really like that. And as you can see, this is the Card Factory's content calendar. As I mentioned earlier on, you can literally go in, you can compare yourself to any business. So I just popped in the Card Factory, and this is what came up. So you can see that they do other things, like nothing says I love you, like a balloon and a box of chocolates. They've here got their Danny the dinosaur is dynamite. So they're kind of showing all the different products that you might want to get to people for Valentine's Day. Don't go baking my heart. My goodness me. If you're a big bacon fan or a breakfast fan, that might be what you get to your loved one. Who knows? You've got your team, you've got their local teams as well, which is lovely. But you can see what I mean. They kind of have a very strong theme over these couple of weeks, but they're selling their products in different ways. So it's really, really clever. And then this one is Saddleworth brownies versus Lindt. Now, what I wanted to do with this is I wanted to show you guys independents versus nationals, how you can take what independent does and apply it to your business, and how you can take what a national does. And you can't get more national really in terms of chocolate and Valentine's than good old Lindt. And then you've got Saddleworth brownies. So let's have a wee look at Saddleworth first. Okay, so here, this is, it's making me so hungry. I apologize if my stomach rumbles. So this is Saddleworth brownies, and they, as you can tell, do lots of delicious baked goods and send them out to you. And here is their Valentine share box. So they create little gorgeous little boxes, really simple, beautiful branding. And then they put all the delicious things that anybody would want, which you kind of probably don't even want to share, but you kind of feel like you should share because that is going to be calorific. But it also is quite, it's Valentine's wrapped up in a box, because the idea is if you share it with a loved one, then it's maybe quite sensual, like with the chocolates and the dipping of the strawberries, that's the kind of idea behind it that they've gone for, I guess. It's the tasty and the forbidden, like naughty chocolate, the marshmallows, all the calories, all the things that you just share with that one person for that one day. But again, what you could do is flip that on its head and it not be about a romantic thing, but actually, this could have been a Galentine's box. This could have been a bromance box. This could be something that, if it's just you and your kids that, you share together to celebrate your love. So there's alternative ways of being able to talk about this, which is something that I would have probably gone on after this. You could have done it for this, but it might have been, pictures of like a little hand versus, like the mum's hand or something like that, dipping in. It might be a little reel of two besties that are taking the marshmallows and like, I don't know, dipping in the chocolate and cheersing each other. It's kind of thinking about going back to what the others have done. It's that what Valentine's Day or what any national campaign means to that person, and then thinking about how do you sell it to more people. The best way of selling it to more people is to really sort of pinpoint, these are the people that I need to sell it to, and this is how to. So you could wrap that box up in 100 different ways, but they've chosen to just be sort of quite generic with the Valentine's. This is the perfect treat. The box will come packaged with hearts and gift wrapped with a ribbon, and then they've gone into lots of detail on it. So I think, and obviously they've done really, really lovely hashtags here as well, which would be the ones that you would go for. And people have loved it. This looks amazing. This is perfect. How much? Oh my. So yeah, people love it. So I guess what I would take away from that is, if you do sharing platters, if you do anything that you could share, whether it's cocktails or whether it's a meal or something like that, show the different ways of sharing that experience so that you make sure that you're hitting all of your different types of customers. And again, you wouldn't just use the same image, you would use different images and different videos and things like that, but it ultimately still is the same box, doesn't it? So it's just something to think about. And then Lindt, this is my favorite chocolate in the world. Although to be fair, I haven't tried this particular one. I just like the normal ones. Right. It does make me want to try it though, I won't lie to you. I did see an advert on TV for it last night now as well. So here we've got, it's not long until Valentine's Day. Give the gift of bliss to someone that you love with our newest smooth melting recipe, Lindor Blood Orange. Find the perfect fit at Lindt chocolate shops online and at retail partners. So here, they've done a flatly. It's not something, not a big expensive advert. And obviously they've got a massive, you know, well, I'm assuming they've got a massive marketing budget. They've definitely got a marketing team. You know, they're based all over the globe. But here they've done like a little flatly of a letter, which I imagine would be, you know, like your kind of, you know, letter to your Valentine, love letter sort of situation. They've peppered a couple of little hearts on it, a wee ribbon, and then of course they've popped the chocolates there, but ultimately it's all about the chocolates. That's what it's all about. And then they've kind of created that fear of missing out a little bit with saying it's not long until Valentine's Day, which might have just triggered that whole, oh no, I haven't got anything for that person. And then it's the, you know, it's that kind of M&S, we call it food porn kind of language, but that M&S kind of seductive way of talking about food, which is that giving the gift of bliss to someone that you love. I mean, what is more blissful than a beautiful chocolate? Like, you know, you can imagine just sitting, chilling out, eating your chocolate, feeling very, very satisfied and happy. So I guess that's the kind of feel that they've gone for with this. So it's the show-stopping image, it's the peppering it with a little bit of Valentine's Day, the fear of missing out, or slash, you know, inspiring you to actually get off your bum and do something about it. And then it is the explaining what it is, and then it's reminding you the call to action is that you can go and get it in store, or you can get it online or with their partners. Now they haven't gone crazy on the hashtags either, so they've done quite traditional big ones, and then they've obviously chocolate orange, which is going to be a natural one for this one anyway. But people like it, my absolute faves. Would rather gift someone some Lindt UK brownies. We're all here to share our love for Lindt and brownies. Basically, what they're doing is they're trying to get a collab is needed with this brand here, which is really interesting, because if I was Lindt, I'd want to be jumping in on that and finding out more about it. But yeah, I absolutely love this. It's just so good because it is promoting a new product, it is selling a new product, it is inspiring with the image, it is really strong on the caption, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's a box of chocolates. So again, anybody could do this, whether you're selling a cake or a hot chocolate or something. Call it something Valentine's Day, and you've basically got yourself a new product for Valentine's Day. So yeah, really, really clever. We go. And this is Lindt's content calendar. So they actually don't post a huge amount in comparison to like the Card Factory and everything. So they are kind of stick with like their Facebook and Instagram. You can see they've done something else that they've done. So they're jumping from Valentine's Day to Easter, which again, another big national campaign that you can jump on. So this is the Gold Bunny is sharing the happiness. Yeah, that's what it said. Find 10 winning tokens hidden inside our golden bunnies to win £5,000 this Easter. Now that is a decent prize. Really good. And my daughter always wants them, so you never know. And then, but so they've kind of they're going between bit of love and bit of Easter. So they're kind of capitalizing on the fact that these are two big holidays that people are naturally going to buy chocolate. So they've not had to go to town on the rest of their or you know, go get mega creative on the rest of their content, because they know that their stuff sells at these time periods. So that's what they're sticking with. And again, that's something we can all learn from, understanding what sells when and doing more of that at that time. Now, speaking of national campaigns, as we have mentioned the last couple of weeks, we have created this incredible content inspiration calendar. With the idea that, you know, it's really hard sometimes to come up with fresh content, to come up with ideas on how you want to do content for the rest of the year, coming up with, you know, like different, you know, like there's tons of different days we've talked about. I mean, Valentine's Day is a very obvious one, but, you know, there's National Love Your Dog Day, there's Kiss a Ginger Day, which we had in January. Then there's lots of, you know, like I think it's National Childhood Mental Health Awareness Week this week. So, you know, there's lots of awareness weeks, lots of things that actually any business, I guess, could kind of get involved with. So what we want to do is make it easier for you guys. So we've actually got all of them. So we've put them all together in one calendar. So again, if you want this and you don't have it already, just pop in the Q&A button and let me know that you want it, and we will get this sent to you. And here we've got basically all the tabs. So you create your maybe account, you book in for free help if you want to. You can then schedule in even any of these posts. We've actually created some posts for you if you want in the scheduler. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible. But okay, we're already in Feb. So let's have a look at maybe the end of Feb. So let's go past Valentine's Day and let's look at some of the national content that is available for the end of Feb. So let's have a look. Okay. So we've got World Thinking Day. So what's this? Celebrated since 1926, World Thinking Day is a day of international friendship, speaking out on issues that affect girls and young women, and fundraising for 10 million Girl Guides and Girl Scouts around the world. It's a global movement, etc. So there, World Thinking Day. I mean, to be fair, you could also take that and call it, you could use World Thinking Day in a lot of different ways, whether it was something fun or whether it was something topical. But I guess, if it's aimed at speaking out on issues that affect girls and young women, and you might be a hair salon, you might be, or you might be a personal trainer, or you might have a shopping centre that's full of female related fashion brands, or you might be, I don't know, a bookshop that specialises in, I don't know, feminist books. We've showcased that before. So whatever it is, if you focus more on maybe a female, like a female-led customer base, then this could be a really interesting one to look at. What could you do for World Thinking Day? So if it's about speaking out about issues that affect girls and young women, could you do some polls on Instagram or on Facebook where you ask people, like, what are the biggest issues facing you today in 2023? And then take that and then on World Thinking Day, talk about whatever the topic was, the biggest thing that came out, whether it's, I don't know, if it's women, it might be childcare. If it's young girls, it might be body image, whatever it could be. It doesn't have to directly relate back to your product or your service, but it's about engaging with people where they're at. So I guess this is the idea behind all of this, is that, you take this and then you think, how could I use this to get engaged with my audience? So that's one. And then there's Emotional Health Day, which, I mean, it makes complete sense for that. It's on February the 24th. Again, if you've got anything to do with well-being, mindfulness, it might be that you do a collaboration with someone. Tell a Fairy Tale Day. My daughter tells a lot of fairy tales, a lot of tall tales. That's one that's more in the US. So yeah, there's different ways of doing this, but I guess those were a couple that I looked at immediately and thought there's so many different ways that any business could do something like this. It's just about knowing what content is coming up. So if, for example, I spoke to a shopping centre yesterday and they were like, right, okay, I don't know, no smoking day is coming up, or love your pet day, for example, is coming up. How can we talk about our pets, and talk about, I don't know, like go around all the retailers, for example, and speak to them about, what pets do they have? And it's just about connecting. It's not about selling the pets, it's about connecting with people on a personal level and showing the human side of your business with some of these bits of content. So again, if you want this, just let me know and we will get it sent along to you guys. And as always, we've got all the tools and support that you need. So on the left, you see the dashboard and the whole platform. So we've got all the social media tools that you would need for scheduling, advertising, reporting, and learning from any kind of competitor. And then on the right there, you can see that we've got all the different trainings that are live, like this one. So we've got it here on a Wednesday, but you can learn how to use maybe on a Monday, social media basics on a Tuesday, ads for beginners on a Thursday, advanced ads on a Friday, and then you've got your always on demand training as well, which is why my throat's a little bit sore, because I've been talking too much, creating lots of content for you guys. So the key takeaways for me for Valentine's Day is you can get cheeky or tongue-in-cheek with your content if you want to drive engagement through taggability. You can be inclusive and show I guess, that publicly, I guess, is what is very important, but only obviously do that if that is, that's the way that you are, and ensure that you're accurately representing your customer. So, if your customer is a certain demographic, a certain type of person, if, they have a certain disability, for example, make sure that, you're accurately representing them in your content. Drive fear of missing out through your content. So it might be putting a deadline on something. It might be, stocks run out fast. It might be, once they're gone, but it does drive people to want to take action more. If you're going to list products, give us the details. So, you know, think Card Factory, you know, they put their products, but they also told us it was $4.99. So, you know, it is that, you know, a little bit extra detail that would mean that I might not have to then go really searching, that I would just go, you know, yes, I'm going to purchase it. Show off your product and use the right hashtags to ensure that you're found. So that goes back to the nationals not really using an awful lot of hashtags, but all the indies using hashtags really well. Hashtags do work. So they signpost people to your product, but also to your service or your place or, you know, anything like that. So make sure that you're actually really using the hashtags. And then as always, just if you've not done it already, then set up your Maybe account so that you can get more of this, learn more from social media, get planning, get your content done, and then learn more from, you know, what's working and what's not. So look out for the email that you guys will get from us tomorrow, and that has all the links in it. Plus you'll get a sort of look at the leading brands that will head to head on social media. You'll get more inspiration. And then next week, what am I talking about next week? Oh, competitions. So we are looking at national versus independents. We're looking at businesses that are really doing so well, doing competitions on social media. So I'll be answering any of your questions and talking to you guys a little bit about, I guess, you know, how they work, and you know, I guess the best types of competitions to use for different types of products or services or brands. But that's it from us, I guess. So unless anyone has any burning questions, and as always, you can go into Maybe and you can click on the little blue magic button, where you've got one of, you know, someone like me or someone in the background, but they can answer, or we do loads of blogs and articles and things like that to help you guys, as well as all the training. But it's been lovely to chat to you guys, and I hope that when Valentine's Day comes that you do all celebrate it in one way, shape or form, whether it's with your dog or your spouse or your bestie. And I will see you all next week to talk about competitions. Thanks very much, guys.